Welcome to our spoiler discussion of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and here we're going to be talking more in depth of stuff that we didn't talk about in our non-spoiler review of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. For those of you who haven't seen the film yet, you are welcome to check out our non-spoiler review of the film on our channel, and when you've seen the movie, come back and feel free to check out our thoughts on it. Yeah. So basically, this movie is actually... starts out pretty decently it actually starts out pretty intenseful
and scary, and it starts out where they're in this little submarine thing in that pool where they had the alligator thing from the Jurassic World.
Yeah. Because basically there's a team that's there to retrieve this dinosaur bone to bring
it's that dinosaur bone from that
ingenious Indominus Rex from Jurassic World, from the last movie. They're there to pick up the remains of it and bring it back. While they get there, they're going in the water at first, and then going in to bring it under, because it ended up being in the water from the last film. Yeah. And while this is going on, we see a team of experts that are trying to get things organized, and they got this really intenseful scene where it's all in the rain and everything, and it's very like pouring down. I love the fucking visuals for that.
Yeah, I do too.
The cinematography really captures the mood.
Yeah. And it's actually a pretty eerie feeling too.
Yeah. And basically you got one guy who's trying to open the gate and stuff, or after he opens the gate, he's ending up he's ended up having to go back to the helicopter, and then what
it was they opened up the gate and so they can get the submarine in.
Yeah.
And they can retrieve the thing. Well, upon getting what they needed so they can get the submarine back out, he's sitting there trying to close it, and then it's getting stuck, and the guys end up getting out and getting on the helicopter, and they're trying to rush him to get there, and then the T-Rex shows up.
Well, before that, we also see that the submarine actually gets ate by the actual
those submarine guys.
They get eaten by the underwater creature.
And these guys in helicopters telling him, "Hey, hurry up, man!" And he can't close it because it won't work. And then the T-Rex comes and pretty much chases after the guy with the controls, and he gets on the helicopter, and they start flying away and stuff. And the T-Rex, almost gets the guy, but doesn't get him. And then, next you know, the guy starts laughing. He goes, "Yeah, I got away," and all that stuff. Next you know, the alligator thing comes out of the water.
And bites him right there. I was like, holy shit.
And bites him, and
that starts it out.
The water, and then it shows that the door never closed, hinting now this dinosaur has been released into the ocean.
Yep. Yeah. And that opening scene alone really got the mood for things going for me. Yeah. Like, that was such a great start. That's probably like one of the most intenseful moments in Jurassic Park that I've seen since Lost World.
Yeah.
But basically, what we didn't discuss in our spoiler discussion was that there's a new character that's introduced in this film called who's basically running John Hammond's partner who helped creating dinosaurs. It's a guy named Benjamin Lockwood, who's played by James Cromwell. Yeah. If you remember from Green Mile and Babe and all that. Well, basically, he carries on John Hammond's legacy and has someone work for the company, his right-hand man, who basically wants to recruit Bryce Dallas Howard's character to go to the island to bring back the dinosaurs, since there's a volcano that's going to go down.
Yeah, the volcanoes now went active, and it's in the island from Jurassic Park, the Nublar.
Isla Nublar.
And it's pretty much active in there. They got like a time frame before it explodes, and it will kill all the remaining dinosaurs, including all the DNA that they can. And, if they lose this DNA, then they can never do this again. So they hire her and a team of guys to get them safely, and the old dude, what's his name?
James Cromwell's character.
His character has like a plan on another island where he's planning on taking them, where these dinosaurs can live on peacefully with no parks. Yeah,
and what's cool about this character that I actually like was that this guy is kind of like John Hammond in a way, because this is this was a really good scene where when Bryce Dallas Howard's character walks into the mansion. I think, was that the same mansion from Lost World?
It might be.
It might have been.
I think it is. It is, because it was John Hammond's home.
Okay, yeah. And then basically she sees all the pictures of the people that ran the park.
Not only that, do we get to learn also this is where John Hammond first successfully made a dinosaur at.
Yeah, and you basically see that the pictures of all the famous you know, people that ran the company and stuff. And you see a picture of John Hammond right there, and I was like, oh, that was a great, you know,
Another
reference.
thing is the
mosquito.
The dude has the mosquito thing. Kane John Hammond, when he passed away, it went to him, and it shows it's the same one. I'm like, fucking hey, this is. I'm really liking where this is going because it's really, they elaborate about Jurassic Park so much in this scene. They even show like the outline how John Hammond built it.
Yeah, and you get to see all the other exhibits that they collected from the dinosaurs and stuff in this scene, because you see like this underground area where they worked on the dinosaurs and everything, and I like that they really touched base on that.
Yeah.
And then basically she has to get involved with going to the island again, but before she goes there, she has to get an expert to try to get back the dinosaur from the last film, the raptor, the trained raptor from Blue, who was trained by Chris Pratt's character. And so in order to get there, she has to recruit Chris Pratt again. And so this actually, I think was good that they set up this, because it shows that Chris Pratt initially is like, no, you just let him die, because they're basically, the whole point of the movie was that they want the dinosaurs to pretty much go extinct, because they realize by keeping them alive, it's going to run havoc.
Again, like that happened in World, and I could see that. And we also didn't bring up, we also skipped the scene where we had Dr. Malcolm talking to Congress, and they're asking him his point of view, what they should do.
And he feels like they should be extinct.
And he goes, they need to die. They need to go, or we're playing with Mother Nature, and it's going to end up biting us in the end. Yeah.
And basically, when they end up going to the island... Oh, also, before we get to that scene, I just... Not to go all over the place, but there was also a scene earlier that we wanted to touch base on. The scene where we meet the James Cromwell's character, that's also the scene where we get a second of introduction of that little girl. Now, remember this, because this little girl that they introduced plays a big role later on in the film.
And it also is a very controversial one, in my opinion. But other than that, we get to now the park, where they've now successfully got back to Nublar, and you were able to see how like Jurassic World is torn to shreds, it's gone. You see all the stuff from the last movie, and they're pretty much, you also start seeing that the volcano's getting ready to erupt. It's starting to slowly burst.
Yeah, and then they come across like some of the old the park that was from World, the main entrance where it was, and they end up going in there. And I like how they go in it shows the ruins and stuff, and they show like some of the old...
Well, the reason why they had to go in this room is because it was the tracking room that would track every dinosaur there.
Yeah.
And before I start bringing that up, we get introduced to Ted Levine's character, who's pretty much the soldier guy, and he runs soldiers, mercenaries, and they're there to collect the dinosaurs. And I'll tell you what role he plays here in a second. They go into this thing, they're needing them inside this tracker to pretty much turn on the machine so they can actually track where Blue and everybody's at, all the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And they successfully doing that, and then that's where like the lava really hits the fan.
Yeah, and I actually thought this was a suspenseful scene, because it also shows that basically throughout the parts on the island, Chris Pratt's trying to get Blue back and tries to bond with it, because, you know, it's been a while since he last, you know, seen her. And then when he finally sees her in person, at first, you know, she's like not wanting to go near him, like
she hadn't seen him in years.
Yeah, and she's you know, very feisty. And so he's trying to, like, you know, do the thing where he's clicking his thing or whatever to try to calm her down. And we get that really touching scene where he's like bonding with her for a moment, and he's able to touch her again and all that, which I thought that was a really good scene.
It is a good scene until Ted Levine, who, like, here where we can now talk about, he ends up shooting Blue.
Yeah.
And, well, he shoots him with a little dart thing that's going to put him out, but then Blue kind of goes nuts, and he actually kills this one dude, and before this dude dies, this dude successly shoots him with real bullets.
Yeah.
And hurting Blue really bad and taking her down, and this is where they start hurting Chris Pine's character, and they all start, like, you know, they do stuff to him and Bryce Dallas Howard and all them, and start handcuffing stuff, and now here's where the backstabbing comes from.
And which, this is something, to me, when they did that, I was like, I kind of already knew that was going to happen, because the fact that you have this kind of...
Ted Levine, he has that way of knowing he's a villain.
Yeah, I mean, on rare occasions, he's played good guys before, but... You can tell that the way the movie was going, that he was going to be like the tough, gruff, like military guy, kind of like the dude from Lost World, who was like the game hunter. The difference was that in that film, the game hunter at least had more like more of a motive right there. This guy, all he's doing is wanting to get the dinosaurs, you know, just because he's working for the company.
Yeah, he's working for the company, and the guy he brought up earlier who is like the grandson or whatever.
Or no, he was like the one who took over the company, basically.
Took over. He's a young guy, and he ends up being the guy who's like the rich motherfucker, has all the money, and he ends up going behind Peter's back. What's his name?
James Cromwell.
James's character's back because he's supposed to work under him, and at the same time he's the one that's backstabbing everybody to get all the dinosaurs so he can get rich. It's a human trafficking thing he's involved with, but it's animal thing, and he sells weaponry to other like Russia, Serbia, Slovenia, and all them, and he sees it's a $1 billion industry. People want to give him billions of dollars for these dinosaurs. So he's the guy who set up Ted Levine's character and everybody.
Yeah, and that I already pretty much knew, because the fact that you really have a guy that's taking over.
Well, the trailer spoiled that with that guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you kind of already knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
That's the problem I also had with the trailers, was that they really pushed too much of the stuff that would have been more, you know, surprising in the film. Not that it mattered, because we kind of predicted it, but still, you don't really need to spoil it. But anyway, as the story goes along, they end up having to evacuate because the island's pretty much going to shit because of the volcano.
The volcano finally erupts right here, and everything's pretty much blowing and
we
up to shreds.
We get that really
intense. I will say this was like one of my other favorite parts of the movie. This is where it gets intense, where like now the lava, everything's hitting the fan,
and the dinosaurs are running away. And stuff.
Well, and then basically everybody is like getting like, you know, they start seeing that all these people are storing dinosaurs like in the ships and stuff, like Chris Pine's character and all that, and Pratt. Yeah, I keep calling him Pine. Pratt. It's all too many Chris's. Oh, anyway, Pratt. They end up having that scene that you saw in the trailers, like was used a lot in the trailers, where all the dinosaurs are running. He's like, "Run!"
Yeah,
run!
And the other two, the Howard and the technician guy are in that little ball thing that you see in World, and they're having to go down that cliff. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of Lost World, only this time it was like them going down below all the way to the water this time.
Yeah, so you get this really tense scene where every dinosaur, known to man that they've ever made, is running towards the ocean, and they're all getting away, and you see a lot of dinosaurs emotionally die. It really was pretty sad. Then you get this one dinosaur kind of stops on his way of running to try to kill them, and this is when we get the T-Rex
come out of nowhere, which that would have been such a great surprise had it not been the freaking trailer.
I know, right?
But it was great when he showed up, and then you seen that they finally go in the water. And I will say this part right here, when it shows like this shot where they're in the water trying to escape the ball thing, that was a great shot they did on a camera work, because it stays in one take for that majority of that part. Because if you notice, the camera like stays on them, and then it's like circling back and forth like above the water and below when Chris Pratt's trying to get him out. I actually like that, because I thought that was great direction.
It's a pretty intense scene where they're damn near drowned. They come up the surface, getting out, and they escape the ball thing before they drown.
Yeah.
And it shows like all the dinosaurs slowly just drowning, man. It's sad, because some of them didn't make it. And then they get back on the island safely to get to where the shipping yard is, where they're starting to load up all the dinosaurs they saved, and all the soldiers are getting on. And then Bryce and all them they're running from the volcano's finally shooting out the lava at them, and they run to the ship. And when they get to the ship, they make it on successfully by like a square inch. And this is where the film really grabbed me emotionally. We get this really, really slow, sad scene with this Brontosaurus gets like at the edge, like at the water, and he was wanting to get on the boat and escape too, but he's sitting there screaming and crying, and then you see like lava and the fire just slowly consume.
I know, that was very emotional for me.
And they really draw it out to where it really grabs you.
Yeah. And then the rest of the film after this, it kind of takes kind of a timeout, because this is kind of what we discussed in our non-spoiler, where the second half really drags, because
now it's not only that, what really kind of disappointed me is all this, like, you know, what we know about Jurassic Park and what we've seen with these islands and all this all ends in, like, the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, after the first, like, I'd say about 30 maybe minutes, after the first, like, that first half hour, it basically becomes the rest of it, like, a different... Like, in the Lost World, basically.
Yeah, it's like, oh, man.
Yeah,
that was too quick.
Yeah, I figure, I mean, I know they weren't trying to rehash Lost World, but you're still doing it anyway because of the fact that you're bringing them to the shore, you know, and so... They end up going to take the dinosaurs back to there, but while they're doing that, they also discover that the scientist guy. Well, before we get to that, actually, we noticed that Blue is actually dying from the gunshot, and so in order to get her better, they actually have that really kind of funny scene where they have to get a blood transfusion, and in order to save her, she has basically Chris Pratt and Howard have to get
a carnivore's blood.
Yeah, basically they had to get the T-Rex's blood.
Yeah,
and
because he was the only few carnivore they saved, and his blood matches. What? Because they're kind of relative with Velociraptors, T-Rexes are. Yeah. So that's the only option.
Yeah, and so they end up getting the blood from there, and then afterwards, we pretty much take kind of a timeout because while that's going on, we also get more stuff with the girl going on. Yes. So that girl we mentioned earlier, she's basically the granddaughter of James Cromwell's character, and she's wanting to learn more about, like, her past, like her mother and stuff like that, and the stories that her grandfather has told her. And then she starts to notice that the guy we mentioned earlier, the one who took over the company, is up to no good, and so she's snooping around on him and stuff. And I'll admit, like, the girl that plays her, I actually thought was a pretty good pretty good on her performance.
Yeah, her performance was great. And you see her and Peter, you see her and
James Cromwell.
Yeah, getting the kind of like chemistry, getting to know each other, and it's like he's not really want to tell her where she's from and who the mother is. You're thinking that's kind of strange.
Yeah, because it pans out after he, like, tells her about her mother. It pans out to a part where it shows Jurassic Park, like a model and everything. I was like, oh wait, are we led to believe that this is probably somebody from the original films?
And then she's the daughter of one of them, and I started assuming it was the granddaughter from the first movie.
Yeah, Ellie.
Yeah, and I was like, oh damn, they killed her on a car wreck? Because he said a car wreck, didn't he?
Yeah, it was a car accident.
Yeah, supposedly, and it actually wasn't. We'll tell you that in a little bit.
But so there's basically two things that are going on at the same time. While that's going on, there's also when they basically get to the house, because they bring it to the actual mansion to store the dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah, the guy,
because there's an auction that the dude wants to do.
That dude, like we said, is like a human / animal trafficker, and he talks to this one guy, which I've seen him in like a lot of British movies. That one dude does the auction, the short guy.
Oh yeah, Toby Jones. Yeah. He played in the Captain America.
Yeah, wasn't he in Sweeney Todd and all
that?
Yeah,
I believe he was also in
Harry Potter.
Yeah. No, he was in that one last year. Oh, The Mist. Yeah. He was also in that one.
So anyways, this guy pretty much knows all the context, and they're going back to Northern California where it takes place. And they're doing, at the auction, it takes place at this big mansion. They pretty much get, like, all the big arms dealers of the world that wants to spend, like, billions of dollars on these animals to get dinosaurs. So now everybody in the world will have, like, DNA and stuff. Yeah. Pretty much this is, like, kind of like a dinosaur version of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, where pretty much eventually this shit's going to spread like wildfire around the world.
And also, when we mentioned this earlier in our non-spoiler review, there's also a part where the little girl is kind of snoop around and stuff. She does later come across the laboratory of where all this is happening, and she discovers video footage of when Blue was being trained by Chris Pratt. And I actually really enjoyed that because it shows a lot of the backstory involving how they evolved and stuff.
Yeah, they really dig deep, because if you remember one of my, I mentioned in the retro, one of my main issues with World when I first saw that movie was at first I really wasn't on board with the whole, like, where we can actually talk to dinosaurs and train them. And I think it had a lot to do with there was no backstory how they were doing it. Yeah. They never revealed any backstory. So I kind of was like, that's a little miss thing that we kind of need. But this one filled it up.
Yeah, so. I was glad they touched base on that, because it was also a very charming moment right there too. Yeah. Because the stuff that goes on with Blue and Chris Pratt, like those are some of my favorite scenes in the movie. Yeah. But anyway, and then also we can pretty much go over this now. We also get reintroduced to the scientist that was from the other films. If you remember the scientist, the lead scientist from the first film, Dr. Wu, the Asian guy, he also has a role in this film, much like in Jurassic World, where he created the dinosaurs and stuff, and he has the last embryos.
Yeah.
And basically, he had a plan to create the ultimate dinosaur, which is basically a hybrid of a raptor and the Indominus Rex.
Yeah, taking his DNA from the last movie, yeah.
Yeah, and so he basically wants to make that, but what he doesn't want to do is actually sell it. But this also I have a problem with the writing for this, because the movie can't decide whether he's trying to be a full-on villain or if he's like against the idea.
It's like they can't tell if he's the villain or the main guy's the main villain or Ted Levine is the main villain.
Yeah.
Like, it's jumping between all three of them, and they all have disagreements with each other, so it's like, I'm kind of getting confused here.
Yeah.
Slow down a little bit. I know this dude's going to end up, the rich guy's going to end up being the main villain, but then they also introduced the auction guy that was kind of going to, they try to portray like he's going to become something too. It was like,
it was like,
whoa, wait, there's so many fucking
there's too many villains in this.
More villains than in our fucking DC movie.
I'm like, slow down, movie. Yeah, because, and so, there's that.
And not only that, I was kind of getting really bored with them spending the entire fucking, this movie's about 2 hours and 10 minutes?
I'd say about,
2 hours and 10 minutes. The 30 minutes was on the island, which I was enjoyed, but it was too short-lived. Literally, the whole fucking movie's in this fucking mansion.
Yeah.
The rest of it, and they didn't leave anywhere else. I'm like, oh my god, man, this is why it dragged a little bit.
The second half really had a lot of bad pacing, because most of the time you're having the characters just sit around with dialogue and exposition dialogue.
Not to mention,
and the dinosaurs don't even really do much until the last act of the movie.
Well, like I said, like that mixed kid and that Mexican Asian girl, I can't really tell what she was.
Half Mexican, I guess half American.
Or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, her and the technician guy, which is a young kid he's like a mixed kid with dark hair.
Yeah,
but anyways, they were the most annoying characters in this film. He was the worst, though.
Yeah, every scene he was in, he was just such,
he's screaming
and he had,
time,
like, they tried to give him, like, comic relief lines that just really were annoying. Like, I got blood on me. Do I got blood on me? And stuff like that.
He plays the whiner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really killed a lot of the scenes for me in that. But also, basically, not to jump the gun, but when we get to the final climax that involves where the dinosaurs are being auctioned off, this, to me, I think, was where the movie picked up a lot.
Yeah, because this is going towards the end.
Yeah, because basically after Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard's characters get caught trying to, escape or trying to... Well, basically, they got caught earlier because when they left the island, they stored away on the boat. Yeah. And so after
they got caught by Ted.
Yeah. And so they end up getting away after they realize there's a dinosaur in the other cell that's near them, and
it can break. It's that one with the skull that can ram you.
I think it's was that a Stegosaurus?
No, Stegosaurus. I believe. I used to know my dinosaurs when I was a kid. And I used to be, like, I was a big fan of the first movie especially, and I was a big fan of the series overall.
I think
I used to know my dinosaurs as a kid, but now I've kind of lost touch in the names. But I believe the Stegosaurus is the one with the spikes.
Yeah, I thought it had spikes.
Sagittarius, or I don't know.
That's right, yeah. Okay, well...
Whatever it is, it's the one with the big skull, it can ram shit.
Yeah, and so Chris Pratt gets away to try to call him by whistling next door to him, and it breaks out, and then he gets a chance to, like, go out and free and go free with them.
Yeah.
And so while that's going on, you also have it to where
they're at that auction.
And they start showing the dinosaurs and everything, and we see that also like we were saying earlier, the scientist, Dr. Wu, is questioning, why they're auctioning this off, but it's very contradictory because first he's glad that he created the dinosaur, but he's still against the idea of them selling it off.
Now, here's the thing that should grab you, but it didn't really grab me, and it's because this is really making this not feel Jurassic Park feel to the film. We did forget to mention that before the auction scene, the little girl informs her grandfather what the rich man's doing, the rich guy that's kind of running the company for the grandfather, and pretty much informed him, and he confronts him saying, I need you to call the police.
Yeah.
You're going to jail, and you're going to tell them, explain this. But he ends up taking a pill and suffocating him to death.
Yeah, and then we...
which, I get that it's trying to heighten more of a horror thrillish time thing. It's trying to change up things. I do think it needs a change, but I thought that this changed way too much, and it strayed away for what a Jurassic Park film is.
Yeah, definitely. And also, not
because you got humans doing, like, you're having people, like, doing hits. It's looking like a Hitman type movie. I'm like,
yeah,
this, I don't know what this movie's trying to do.
Yeah, not just that, but afterwards, that also was the scene where the mosquito cane also breaks, and so that finally, you know, gets broken. Which was sad. Yeah. And then we see that the little girl finally comes into play, where she discovers more about what's happening with him, because she tries to escape after there's a dinosaur that comes when she's trying to, you know, snoop around and stuff.
Well, and she has that book that when she found her grandfather
and dead. She basically, this is where we were talking about earlier with that girl. With the person in the picture, she finds out who the picture was inside, and it was actually the girl that was from the first Jurassic World. Yeah. Basically, if you remember the nanny, I believe it was the nanny in the first Jurassic World that was with the kids and stuff, that person got killed, and so instead of having to, it's basically revealed that instead of
the grandfather was heartbroken about his daughter's death, that he cloned a human.
Yeah.
And this, I am sorry, but no, I can't accept this in a Jurassic Park film. This has me worried that they're going to get too carried away with the storyline.
Yeah, because now they bring in human cloning in the film, and I felt like, I felt like that was so out of place. Yeah. Because to me, I understand the whole point is about cloning dinosaurs, but the fact that you're cloning humans...
And then it's going to get carried away, and it's going to be like this robot shit in the future. And it's going to just it's going to become Terminator. It's going to be spliced.
That strays too far from Jurassic Park.
And it's just not a Jurassic Park movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was very against that. But, yeah, so she ends up discovering that she's a clone, and so she ends up getting... You know, teams up with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard after they end up, you know, finding her and everything.
And they end up breaking into they end up opening up some of the dinosaurs so they can wreak havoc on the auction.
Yeah, and we finally get to where the dinosaurs are brought loose after there's some stuff that goes down inside the laboratory where the two unlikable characters that we mentioned earlier, they end up letting loose Blue out of it. Yeah. And he ends up breaking them out and everything, and then we see that they end up getting all the dinosaurs loose after that, out of the cages and stuff. Yep. And so...
And that's where we get introduced to the new hybrid.
Yeah, the new hybrid, which was, like we were saying earlier, the Raptor / T-Rex equivalent, or the Indominus Rex equivalent. And this thing was fucking brutal when I seen it, man. Brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually just now just remembered, I didn't say anything about this being on my pros for the last review and the spoiler free, but this movie was pretty gruesome.
Yeah, I was glad to see some of the stuff they got away with in this. Like, not to go all over the place, but there's also a scene later where we see that after everyone's pretty much evacuating and stuff, we see that Ted Levine's character goes in.
And he's trying to discover. He's trying to take over. Like, I'm gonna kill.
Yeah, he's like trying to, and he ends up shooting the hybrid with the tranquilizer darts and stuff. And then when he goes in he stupidly goes inside the cage to see if it's dead. Yeah. And then there's that scene where it's like moving its tail and stuff, and then it hits him after he looks at it again. And I'm like, I fucking called that shit. Yeah. And then he ends up, you know, getting pushed on the wall and stuff like that. And we got that really gruesome scene where he pretty much gets his arm, like, ripped off
and stuff. And then, like, from a distance, you hear his throat getting torn.
Yeah.
He's getting tore up. And at that time, you get that British dude, that auctioneer guy running with a bunch of people, the last bit of people that's still left in this elevator. And then just right before that thing almost gets him, the elevator closes and you think, okay, they're going to go upstairs. But the thing accidentally whips its tail and breaks the elevator, and it comes right back open.
That was a clever scene.
They all get killed.
Yeah, I like that. That was cool. Yeah. But then we get the final climax, which is basically involves where the little girl is pretty much trying to get away from the from the hybrid, and we got probably my second favorite moment in the film as far as that got me on the edge was. There's a part where she ends up, well, first of all, before at least that, she gets inside this little elevator thing, and they do a callback to the first movie when Lex pulled the door down and stuff, and this part, you see her pull the door down. Struggling, and then she pulls it down, and then the hybrid just hits its head, kind of like the first movie, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But then we get this really intense scene that I enjoy where she goes inside her bedroom, and she's, like, hiding under her covers and stuff, and you see, like, the shots of the hybrid like going through the windows and stuff like that,
and
like creeping around. I like that. That was really intense.
That was really intense, and it was creepy as shit. And then you got where it shows Chris Pratt show up there and he shoots him, but then the hybrid survives the gunshot wounds.
Yeah.
And then he's like out of bullets. He's like, oh shit. And then this is where Blue comes in.
Yeah, we got that really cool fight between him and Blue, and which also ends up going on the rooftop and stuff like that. And the way it's also captured with like the rain and everything, that I thought was a great like fight that they had there, especially it was shot. But then afterwards we get the Blue and them have their fight going on, and then it all pretty much ends where the hybrid ends up coming down with Blue, and the hybrid lands on the bones of the dinosaur, like horns and stuff.
Yeah, it was like a triceratops skull, and it lands and he kills the hybrid. And then pretty much Blue, survives, kills the hybrid. And you get the scene where the last bit of the people and the rich guy finally gets his taste of medicine.
Yeah, because there's basically afterwards, you get this really emotional scene that I actually was on the verge of tears where Chris Pratt and all them, they decide that they want the dinosaurs to pretty much die because they feel like they need to be extinct. And so they let all of them out of their cages and stuff.
Because the thing's caving in and it's poisoning them.
And so they decide to let them suffocate and let them go extinct instead of having to risk them being out in the world. And so afterwards, we get the little girl who decides that it's probably best that they let the dinosaurs go. And
because she goes, they gave me a chance at living my life as a clone. They should too.
Yeah, so I actually enjoy that. So that is kind of a pro I do get because she feels like she's a part of them. I do like that about that character.
I do like that, but I still don't like the human clone.
I don't like the fact that they did the human clone, but I like that.
I did like she has a special connection to the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And she pushes the button, which now releases the dinosaurs on Earth in the United States,
and we get probably the best part of the film where we get to see all the dinosaurs come out, kind of like Ace Ventura when nature calls, when all the animals break loose.
And then you get the rich guy finally gets it. He gets eaten by
the T-Rex. Well, no, not the T-Rex. It was the other type of dinosaur, the Canatosaurus or something like that, whatever it was. It's similar to the T-Rex where it ends up getting like killed after he sees a T-Rex coming, and then there's a dinosaur like right in front of him that jumps on him and starts biting him,
the shit out of him, killing him. So then we get into with Dr. Malcolm, which he's narrating the end. And it says, we've now created our own extinction.
And now dinosaurs
this is
and
the Jurassic World.
This is now Jurassic World where humans and dinosaurs coexist.
Coexist,
And the one thing that I wish they could have included was this line from the trailer where he said, life finds a way. They missed that in the movie.
Yeah, they missed that in the movie. And then you get the T-Rex screaming at the lion, which was pretty cool.
And you see all the dinosaurs running amok throughout the mainland.
And then it shows at the end where they're going towards a city. And you're like, oh shit, the next movie. And I've actually been wanting this concept for a while, and I'm really glad they're building this up into with the new trilogy. But the sad thing is the next one's supposed to be the final one of this trilogy. So I would love to see what they really could have done, like a Dawn of the Planet of the Apes type thing.
Yeah, definitely. That would have been great.
Yeah. And I was hoping to do that, but it'd be kind of hard to do both concepts in one film left.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But it all pretty much ends of something that we expected over the years to do because it's called Jurassic World,
Oh, we did Pterodactyl.
Yeah, there's a post-credit scenes. If you wait after credits, there is also a funny post-credit scene where it shows the pterodactyls are in Las Vegas and they're flying around and stuff. Yeah. It was short, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was led to believe that they're going to start invading all the cities now.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I like this concept, but I think what ruined it was being at the mansion the whole movie. That was really
because at least this movie is basically rehashing a lot with Lost World. At least with Lost World, they were able to blend it with most of it on the island, and then kind of like doing partially like all throughout the city and stuff. Yeah. This one, they do it where they're let loose on the end, but most of it's in that fucking mansion, which kind of bored me.
It bored the fuck out of me. It was like I was watching Clue, like a Hitman,
or like a Mouse Hunt,
like those mansions you see off of Taken, where they're doing the human trafficking thing, where it's like all those people raising their hand, like, I want 1 million, 2 million.
Yeah.
I was like, this does not feel like a Jurassic movie.
Yeah, I felt like it was too drawn out with that. Yeah. But it did pay, for me, I think because it really paid off in the end, it still, like, bumped it up a lot more.
It's an entertaining movie. On entertaining, but as a story, it's not good.
No, it's definitely... I'd say it's like we were saying in our other review.
Very average.
It's a high average on the Film Phreeks radar for both of us. Yeah. But it still captures a lot better for me personally than Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah. So it's still, I do have this above Jurassic Park 3, but other than that, I still thought it underperformed against World.
Yeah. Definitely. But that's pretty much our thoughts on how we felt with the movie overall. For those of you who have also seen Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it, and the other Jurassic Park movies as well. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel, and check out some other reviews here on our channel and at filmphreeks.com at our website. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.